Recently, I discovered that Esther's bottom end was completely dead. All right, so the other day I came round here with my beautiful girlfriend Kat and we took Esther for a rip, absolutely dead. So there you go, another thing to add. Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Marcus Hayes, and in this video I've got some footage to show you that I was gonna put at the end of the last video, but that would have made the video way too long. And it's all about my favourite car, Esther, the ST170 powered Mk1 Escort. Now, if you've been watching the videos, you'll know that recently I discovered, so I thought, that Esther's bottom end was completely dead. And loads of you guys got in touch with advice after that video, so massive thanks to each and every one of you. But since that video, I think I've discovered something a bit more positive with Esther, and yeah, things might not be quite as bad as I thought. But as I mentioned in the last video, where I talked about the dilemma I've been having in my mind about my cars, I did discover another little issue with Esther's engine. I noticed that the revs keep hanging, so when you sort of pull up to a set of traffic lights, say, the revs don't drop right down, they hang on a bit. I have had a little look, yeah, I just had a little look at, you know, the throttle cable mechanism and stuff, and nothing seems like it's sticking. I also, you know, tried to sort of lean on the throttle bodies whilst it was running to see if the revs went up. You know, that could indicate that there's a air leak from the gasket. I haven't tried spraying anything on it while it's running yet, but yeah, it just seems like it's something to do with the throttle cable side of things or an air leak. I don't know, need to investigate further. So yeah, in this video, I'm going to explain the better news that I've discovered with Esther and dive into trying to figure out what this other issue is all about. So hope you enjoy the video. All right, so the other day I came round here with my beautiful girlfriend Kat and we took Esther for a rip whilst we had the laptop hooked up, and I was getting Kat to basically monitor everything on the laptop as we were going for a drive. I was getting her to check things like, you know, if the VVT was working correctly by looking at the VVT page on the motorsport electronics software and just checking that the target VVT or the target cam advance, which is determined by the map, was being matched by the actual cam advance, which is monitored by the cam sensor over here. And what we worked out is that the VVT doesn't seem to work when you first fire this thing up, you know, but after it's warm, it does work, which doesn't make sense to me, because although the VVT solenoid requires oil pressure to work, you know, you've got less oil pressure when your engine's warm than when it's cold. So I don't quite know why the VVT isn't working when you initially start it, but we did confirm that once it's up to operating temperature, the VVT does seem to work. And then, you know, the actual cam advance follows the target cam advance absolutely fine. Now, we worked out recently that if you disconnect the cam sensor, the engine eventually will cut out. But if you disconnect the VVT solenoid, it doesn't cut out, but it's just really low on power. Now, as far as I know, the cam sensor on this setup doesn't really do much because the engine runs an open loop system. So the fueling and stuff isn't controlled by any of the sensors, right? It's controlled by the map, which is created when we put Esther on the rolling road. When we plugged the laptop in, I confirmed that this fueling is set up in batch mode, which basically means that all the injectors fire at the same time, once per cycle, I assume, rather than them all shooting, you know, just before each cylinder sparks. So, you know, the cam sensor doesn't control when the injectors fire. Yeah, they literally just squirt fuel once per cycle. So I think I'm right in saying that the cam sensor doesn't do anything in terms of controlling the fueling. So in the recent video when Kat filmed me launching and there was all that smoke, which loads of you guys made me aware was fuel burning rather than oil. Yeah, that's nothing to do with the issues that I seem to be having with the VVT or the cam sensor, you know, not working when the engine's cold. You know, that has nothing to do with the fact that sometimes the actual cam advance doesn't match the target. And it's worth noting that when the engine's warm and the VVT is working, I've sort of confirmed that the symptoms I get when the actual doesn't match the target, you can cause that to happen by unplugging the VVT solenoid. So that's what makes me think that it's the VVT that's not working when the engine's cold, rather than it being anything to do with the cam sensor wiring or the cam sensor. Because as I say, we confirmed that when you do unplug the cam sensor, the engine dies, but when you unplug the VVT solenoid, it just causes the symptoms that we're getting with the cam actual not matching the cam target. But when we took it for a spin the other day, there was no sign of smoke coming out the exhaust like there was in that clip when I launched Hester. But you know, I did do some trial and error with the coolant sensor, which is over here, and it's too close to the bulkhead, and I have had a problem before where this, you know, sort of didn't come all the way off, but it wasn't fully pushed on. And when I did that, that definitely does chuck a load of extra fuel in, because when that's unplugged, the ECU thinks that the coolant is at minus 40 degrees, and obviously when your engine's super cold, the ECU will chuck a load of extra fuel in. So what we basically confirmed, or what I think we confirmed, is that when I did that launch and there was all that smoke, that must have been that coolant sensor not being plugged in properly. Obviously, we didn't have the laptop hooked up at the time when we was taking it for that drive, so I don't know for sure, but based on the trial and error that we did the other day, I think that's what happened. You know, this doesn't really lock on to the thing either, so, you know, you can sort of pull it off like that. So I think, you know, with the engine moving, and because this is so close to the bulkhead, I think sometimes it just manages to not be fully connected. And I believe that that is what caused all the smoke to come out of the exhaust of this thing, which is great because it means that things aren't as drastic as I assumed in that recent video. You know, we saw all that smoke, I assumed it was burning oil, then we did the compression test, which definitely, you know, read low. Each cylinder was only making 100 psi, and then we put the oil in, these two made 150 and these two made 200. So, you know, the engine's definitely low on compression, but it's not absolutely dead. Now, I've actually had multiple people get in touch to offer help with potentially building a new bottom end for this thing, and you know, that's something that I am considering to do in the future, but for now I'm just happy that, you know, she runs semi okay and I can carry on using this thing. You know, I can take her to Santa Pod for the Ford show next month. I've got my own club stand there, and yeah, I'm hoping to take this thing down the drag strip that day. So yeah, I'm really glad that this engine isn't completely dead right now, although, you know, it's clearly tired with only 100 psi compression in each cylinder. Now, there is one other bit of good news that I've got about this engine, and that is that there's hardly any oil now leaking out the bottom of it. So whereas I thought the sump gasket was definitely leaking, I mean, I have wiped it today, but there was literally just a trace, whereas before there was clearly a massive leak. So it seems like most, if not all, of the oil that was leaking out of this engine was actually coming from the dodgy breather box gasket, which I replaced recently. So that's really good news. Yeah, really glad that I don't need to do a sump gasket on this thing, and that also now means that I can crack on with giving this thing its well overdue oil change. Now, I'll probably crack on with doing that oil change next time I come around here. Not sure if I'm going to bother filming it, but what I want to do now is see if I can figure out why the revs seem to be staying high earlier when you take your foot off the accelerator. So I've got this one shot, which is air intake, fuel and exhaust system cleaner, and the plan is to fire this thing up, and then I'm going to spray this stuff all around, you know, where the inlet manifold gasket is and stuff, also around where the throttle bodies meet the inlet manifold. Might even spray it around, you know, the ends of the throttle bodies, and just see if the revs rise or lower at any point when I'm spraying this around. And if the revs do change at any point, then I'll know that there's an air leak somewhere, you know, wherever I'm spraying at that particular time. So fingers crossed we can pinpoint what's going on. You'll have to listen very, very closely because the rev change was very subtle. You're listening for the revs to go down ever so slightly. when I spray the inlet manifold gasket around there, it definitely makes a change. And I can hear it popping from the exhaust as well. Let me see if I can get that on camera. Unfortunately, the camera at the exhaust end didn't pick up the noise change whatsoever, but through my ears I could hear a very subtle burbling pop from the exhaust when I sprayed the gasket with the one shot. And then I noticed the most significant change of all when I sprayed this bit right on the end of the front throttle body, where the throttle linkage is. All right, well, it seemed really hard to pinpoint where the air leak was coming from. In fact, I think there might be two air leaks. Definitely seemed like this sort of middle area of the inlet gasket is leaking air. Definitely made the revs drop when I was spraying there. But what made a bigger rev drop was when I was spraying it on the end of this front throttle body around here, where I'm guessing there will be like a seal or a bush or something where the spindle is, similar to a carb. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got an air leak from the throttle body around here as well. So that's good that I've got a couple of things to go on. But on the other hand, it's not great because it means I've got to rip Esther's engine apart a bit to fix it. But yeah, it's always better to find potential causes of the problems than not find potential causes of the problem. So I think the plan of action will be to find out if indeed there is some sort of seal or bush in the end of the throttle body, and purchase that, and then yeah, just take this thing apart. I'll take the throttle bodies off, replace those seals, and while I'm at it, I'll replace that inlet manifold gasket as well. So there you go, another thing to add to the list of jobs that I need to get done on this old banger, and I'm hoping to dive into doing some jobs on this week. So that lot will be coming up very soon on the channel. So subscribe if you haven't already to keep up to date. So that's all I've got for this video. Massive thanks as always to everyone who's tuned in. Do check the links in the description to my website and my social media and that sort of thing. Don't forget to check out all the new releases on the Petrolhead Style website. And of course, massive thanks as always to my patrons for your ongoing support. But yeah, other than that, I'll chat to you on the next video.